my goodness. I really enjoyed playing Donna. It was like the best first role that like I feel like I could have ever been given. It was so fun. I finally got to like realize that being emotional while singing could also like become more than that. Like I was always just a singer. And in these pictures, I got so close to Vivian and Kate throughout this show. I was already friends with Vivian, but I didn't know Kate as well. And so like getting to be with them all the time, I remember when they graduated, it was really sad. I loved them so much. This was fun. Yeah, there we are. We were such a little trio. We were such a little group. That was so fun. I remember those overalls. They're mine, and I still have them. And the holes on the knees, I couldn't sit in them because like my knee couldn't bend properly, so I was constantly like adjusting my overalls to sit down. And I wore those Converse for like ever. Like I wore them in Legally Blonde as well, and like band camp and everything. But we were such a little trio. That was so fun. I really did enjoy working with them. It was such a good first show experience. It kept me doing them, so that must say something. Why do I look like that in that picture, Fisher? I'm like in the next one where I'm Serena. I remember Justin, who was directing that show at the Arts Center, told us to all like pick a pose, and mine was like my hand on my face, like facing sideways, because I was supposed to be like sassy. I loved Olivia. She played Elle, and like she's my neighbor, so I grew up with her, and we were like besties when we were little. And this was the first show that we had ever done together, and our last show that we had ever done together. So it's a little sad. This is when the trio with Pravi began. A life in trios. Yep, there we are in our little trio. My little wave. Oh my gosh. Hi, Paulette. I remember like doing the highest voice I could possibly do throughout that role. Like I don't really embody a sorority girl, I feel like. So I had to like bring out a part of myself that I didn't know existed a little bit. But that was fun. I remember those jackets we were wearing, they like embroidered like the Delta Nu trio on the back, and they had like this like decal, is that what they're called? And it was all glittery and sparkly. And then, Kristen Chenoweth, that was so fun. I was very honored that I was chosen to get to go and do that. That was the first time I sang Mad Hatter, which I ended up singing for Showtime, which is probably the favorite song that one of my favorites that I've performed. It was really fun. It was a different part of myself that I didn't realize that I like had, I didn't realize I had those notes and had that energy. But that was really fun. I got a little closer to Annika throughout that, and then throughout Little Shop later, I became closer to her, which was good. Once again, the next trio begins. A life of trios. I loved Little Shop. I think like as much as it's like controversial with Pravi about us being in trios together, I will say getting to perform and sing with her is like, it really does mean a lot. Like, she's one of my best friends. Like, I've grown up with her, and she's always been there, and like we get along really well. And I think that getting to sing and perform with her has been one of my favorite things. And Julia, I love Julia. She was telling me when we were at SYT callbacks, she's talking to me about how like she's really going to be sad after SYT because it's going to be her last show with me. And I was like, this is so sad. She's like, I know we've only done like 2 shows together, but I feel like it's been, or I guess at that point it had been 3. But she's like, even though it was last year, it just feels like it's been so long. And it was like, I don't know. It's a bond that you don't really realize that you have until it's gone, which is sad. But getting to sing with those 2 and act and dance was so fun. I just love them. I love them so much. It was just such a fun experience. Like, I don't know, getting to sing in a tight-knit group like that and like the harmonies being that intense and like having to actually know what you're doing, and like you're not really just relying on yourself, you're relying on the other 2 for it to be good. Like, you can't just be yourself, you have to be together. And I think it really bonds you in a way that you don't realize that you need, Theater has taught me a lot of things about my personality and my love of performing. I always knew that I loved to sing in front of people, but I didn't realize that like I loved spreading the message. You know, it wasn't that I loved to just like share my talents. I've always been told I'm a good singer, but I never realized like I didn't enjoy it because I was good at it. I enjoyed it because it was like a way for me to spread that message to someone and connect with the audience in a way that I didn't really get to do through just choir, you know? And like acting with the people around you, you just make that connection with your character and with what's happening, and it's just like, I didn't realize that that was as important to me as it was until I had it. The first thing that pops into my head is when they put pictures in the dressing room in Mamma Mia, and we cut Nick Cordova out of the one, and we taped him over the toilet, and then he was still there like months later, and he was still there. I think that was just kind of like I remembered like, oh, this isn't so serious, because I was so stressed about being Donna for my first role ever. Like the amount of anxiety and stress that caused was crazy, but I think I pulled it off okay. But like being in the dressing room and around people who had been doing it for a long time, and with them like lightening the mood, the minute I realized like, oh, we're just here to have fun, like this is fun. And I think that is like, it's sad but hilarious that that's the first thing that pops into my head. Advice that I probably would have given to my younger self. I really wish that I would have done it sooner. I didn't start doing theater until my junior year of high school. I remember 6th grade, I watched Seussical the Musical at Southwest Middle School, and I was like, man, that is awesome. Like, I want to be a part of that. And I just was always too scared to audition, and never, like, I just didn't think, oh, I'm just a singer, I'm not good enough to do the other things, you know, like, I didn't think that I was good enough as a 6th grader, which is kind of sad, but, like, I think that, I wish that I would have realized that I was good enough, and, like, you don't have to be phenomenal to be a part of that group, you know? You're just there to have fun and there to enjoy the experience. And I kind of wish that I wish I could tell my younger self, like, you could have done this. Like, you were plenty good enough, you had the right environment, and I think that I would have benefited from doing it sooner. My name is Peyton Fowler, and this has been my life on stage so far.